People always talk about the moment everything changes, the second life folds itself in half and suddenly reveals a version of you that you never expected to become. For some, it's a breakup. For others, a loss. But for Lieutenant Commander Arya Dane, it was the moment a stranger and angry, uniformed soldier 3 ranks below her shoved her to the ground in front of a crowd and snarled, "Get lost, Btch." He had no idea she commanded an elite Navy SEAL Special Forces team, the kind that carried out missions so classified their names barely existed on paper. And he had no idea that the woman he pushed was fighting her own silent war, one far deeper than the uniform on her shoulders. This story is not about revenge. It's about awakening. It's about the kind of strength that doesn't roar, it rises. Arya Dane moved through the military base with the quiet confidence of someone who understood both power and restraint. Her boots struck the ground with practiced precision, her gaze steady, her posture strong, yet concealed beneath her calm exterior was exhaustion. Not physical, but emotional. Her team had just returned from a rescue operation off foreign shores, one that left 2 civilians saved, 1 teammate injured, and Arya drained in ways she couldn't articulate. She had barely slept in 3 days. Command paperwork, debriefs, and the weight of leadership pressed against her skull like a tightening vice. She longed for 30 seconds of silence. 30 seconds where she wasn't the pillar holding everyone else steady. As she passed through the south entrance of the base, she reached for her ID, only to realize her fingers trembled slightly from fatigue. Before she could swipe her card, a large hand slammed into her shoulder. The force knocked her backward, and she hit the ground hard. Gasps rose around her. A young soldier towered above her, his jaw tight, his eyes reckless with impatience and ego. "Move," he snapped. Then louder, for everyone to hear, "Get lost, Btch." The air stilled. Arya didn't move. Not because she was weak, but because she was stunned not by the insult, but by the memory it triggered. A memory she avoided for years. Her father, a decorated veteran with a temper sharpened by trauma, had spoken to her like that when she was 14. That night she learned that strength didn't always protect you. Sometimes all you could do was endure. And ever since, she vowed never to mistake cruelty for authority. Around her, whispers rose as soldiers recognized her face. The shove had drawn attention, and the crowd parted when Arya finally stood. She didn't raise her voice. Didn't posture. Didn't glare. "Name," she said quietly. The soldier scoffed. "What, you gonna cry to your boyfriend?" Someone in the crowd murmured, "Dude, that's the commander." The color drained from the soldier's face, but Arya didn't look at him. Instead, she brushed dirt from her uniform and stepped forward, eyes locked on his as gently as one speaks to a child who doesn't yet understand consequences. "You just shoved the commanding officer of SEAL Team 9, she said. "And you addressed me in a manner that violates 7 military conduct regulations." Her voice remained steady, but her heart pounded, not with anger, but with a strange ache. She didn't want punishment. She wanted understanding, something she rarely found. The soldier stammered, I didn't know, ma'am, That's the problem," she said. "You didn't know, and you didn't care. You saw a woman and assumed weakness." Her team arrived moments later, 6 figures with hardened eyes and silent alertness. They formed a protective semicircle behind her without command. To anyone watching, it was clear these elite warriors would follow her into fire itself. But Arya simply waved them off. "Stand down. He's not a threat." It would have been easy, satisfying, even to let the soldier's mistake destroy him. But Arya didn't believe in easy victories. She believed in teaching. In rebuilding. She believed in the kind of justice that shaped better men, not broken ones. Still, when she walked away, the weight in her chest didn't fade. Something about the shove had cracked open an old wound, one she'd spent years ignoring. And for the first time in a long time, she wondered whether strength meant hiding pain, or finally learning how to heal it. Arya sat alone in the dimly lit training room, where the faint echo of punching bags and distant drills normally filled her with purpose. Tonight, it only reminded her of everything she carried. She rested her palms on the cold metal table, trying to steady the tremor in her breath. Commanders weren't supposed to show weakness. But she wasn't just a commander, she was human. And humans shattered quietly. Her second-in-command, Chief Petty Officer Reyes, entered without knocking. He was tall, with eyes sharp enough to read every emotion she tried to hide. "You good?" he asked. "I'm fine." "You're not," he said. "And it's okay if you're not." She looked up sharply. Reyes didn't speak softly very often. When he did, it meant something. "It was just a shove," Arya said. Reyes shrugged. "I've seen you take a bullet with less reaction." "It wasn't the shove," she admitted after a long moment. "It was something it reminded me of." Reyes nodded slowly, pulling up a chair. "We all have ghosts, Commander." Then, softer, "some just hit harder." Arya inhaled deeply. The room felt colder. "My father used to talk to me like that," she said. She didn't know why she told him. Maybe because she was tired. Maybe because she needed someone just once to see her without the armor. Reyes leaned back, not interrupting, not prying. Just listening. Something few people ever bothered to do. He was a decorated soldier. Everyone respected him. "Everyone except me," she continued. "At home, he was angry, unpredictable. I learned to be quiet, to endure. And when that soldier shoved me today, it felt like stepping back into a moment I spent years escaping." Reyes didn't speak for a long time. Then he said, "You didn't escape it. You overpowered it. You became everything he wasn't." Arya swallowed hard. "Then why does it still hurt?" "Because pain doesn't vanish," Reyes said. "It waits for moments like today. And maybe it's time you let your team carry some of that weight with you." The sincerity in his voice nearly broke her. She wasn't used to letting people in. Commanders didn't bleed. Leaders didn't falter. But maybe that was the problem. Maybe she had spent too long being unbreakable. Later that evening, her entire team gathered unexpectedly in the common room. They looked awkward, like soldiers forced into an emotional ambush. "We heard what happened," said Torres, the explosives expert, scratching the back of his head. "And we just wanted you to know we've got your back. Not just in combat. Everywhere." Roth added, "You take care of us. Let us take care of you." Arya stared at them, these warriors who followed her into storms, who trusted her with their lives. She didn't feel alone anymore. The crack in her heart didn't feel like a fracture, it felt like the start of a bridge. She finally spoke. "Thank you. All of you." For the first time in years, her voice softened without breaking. The next morning, she met with the young soldier who had shoved her. Instead of punishment, she assigned him to her team's training sessions for 30 days under supervision, discipline, and mentorship. It was the hardest assignment he'd ever face. But it would also be the one that changed him. Arya watched him struggle through the drills, sweat pouring, ego dissolving. And as she observed him transforming with humility and effort, she realized something powerful. Strength wasn't the absence of pain. It was the decision to rise, even when the past tried to drag you down. By the end of the month, that same soldier stood before her not with arrogance, but with genuine respect. "I'm sorry," he said. "Not just for the shove, but for everything it represented." Arya nodded. "Grow from it. That's all I ask." And he did. Her team, once silent shadows behind her, became the support she never knew she needed. They reminded her that even the strongest commander is still human. And healing, even for a warrior, begins when you stop fighting alone.